So this video is about the technologies that I want to learn in 2022. These are going to be a mix of front-end stuff, back-end stuff, database stuff, just sort of anything that I wanted to learn in 2021 now that I'm going to put some time into in 2022 to hopefully learn them and make myself better. So let's start off with the JavaScript stuff. So JavaScript is my main language of choice. So it's the one I am the best at. It's the one I know the most of. It's the one I would call myself sort of professional level at, or at least close to. And I can't say that about any other language. So the first one, funny enough, is TypeScript. Now, TypeScript is a superset of JavaScript, similar to how C++ is a superset of C. It includes types, basically, hence the name, into JavaScript, so that you don't get bogged down into variables and constants having funky data types that you never expected. In TypeScript, you can define your types. You can create custom types, which brings a little bit of OOP like into it, which is what I thought of it as. However, you are not bogged down by types. You're like in Java, you are very much attached to classes, but in TypeScript you're not. And it's very useful to have these types because what people do when they build libraries as well is that they create their own types with the huge monorepo that's gone around, and you can just get their types. You can even see what's in the types, what data types they are using, or what objects they are using, and it's really interesting. And probably the most powerful feature that I've seen is that you can define JSON objects types. So you can actually define what a JSON object in JavaScript should look like, and it will actually throw up compiling errors if it don't set it that way. So that's something I've actually found to be extremely useful. Something that stops me from making weird errors that would probably take hours to fix, even though it's a couple lines of code. And overall, it just seems really nice. The docs are really useful. Overall, very nice language, and I want to learn a lot more. Currently, I only know a little bit, but I want to finish a whole project in TypeScript, and I want to keep going. Now, the second thing is Prisma. Now, Prisma is a type ORM, so Object Relational Mapping, for TypeScript and JavaScript. I think they might have it for other languages, but I'm not sure. And what it does, it puts a bridge between your database and your program. So I usually just interact with Postgres databases manually by writing the SQL myself. I've never used this sort of type ORM, this ORM programs or query builders per se, which is what Prisma offers. But I want to start because I've tried it in a very tiny project, and most recently in the hackathon that I went to, and I've really enjoyed it. Now I've sort of let it do its thing and never really questioned it, but I want to do a deep dive into it and really have a look at what it's all about, what the migrations are about, and how to use it the most efficiently, as well as how to use complicated relationships and complicated Postgres features, which I would normally use, but in Prisma. Overall, I also want to learn little bit more about the query builder. Currently, there is nothing. I've loved the query builder. Like, it does joins, inner joins, and stuff like that completely flawlessly from what I've seen. But there might be some more complicated queries that I wouldn't try on Prisma, but I really want to get it to work, and I want to do it well. The next one I know very little about. It's React Native. Now, I know a lot about React. I don't know much about the native part. I've never made a native app for phones, so I've never made an Android app or an iPhone app. So I think React Native is probably the best place to start, especially because of my React background. I've done a lot of stuff using React. I think I know it quite well. So I would like to make basically a phone app that's actually efficient. So I know what you could do in React. You could just stick a web view into it and take it to a website, but it's very inefficient. So I would like to make a React Native app that's actually good. Like, I don't want to just make a website and then put everything on the React Native app. I want to make it good. I want it to make use of the hardware of the phone. So I just want to learn how to do that and how to do it well. The next one is Next.js. So currently, all I do with React projects is I make my project and then I build the static files using Webpack, and then I put those on a CDN, or either I make my own Nginx. Usually I make my own Nginx config and put it on a VM or something. But is really cool from what I know so far about Next.js, which is quite little, is how it uses server components to take the stress off of the user. So instead of making a really JavaScript bloated app, which is more difficult to run, you could build the the React components in the server and serve that to the user. I don't know much more than that. It's quite new to me, but I've seen that the latest features are apparently extremely good, and that Next.js really is quite the library and very much appreciated in real world scenarios. So that's probably that's definitely one of the next things I want to learn. Now I wanted to move on to the backend stuff. Now this is quite simple. I want to learn about Redis. So currently I do everything in Postgres. I've had experience with MongoDB, not a huge amount, but I do, and I am very proficient in Postgres or general SQL. I know it well. It works reliably. I can create Postgres databases. I can use some of the advanced features manually. Hence why I kind of want to learn Prisma as well to fully utilize that. However, Redis feature is that it's an in-memory database, as you probably know. And so it can be used for caching, which would be really cool. The next thing is that I want to learn advanced Golang. Now, I know a fair bit about Golang programming, but I've never made a project in Golang. So I've done the advent of code in Golang, so up to a fair few days in Go. I know the main sort of features, and I could slap something together in Go pretty quickly. However, I don't know much about the ecosystem. I don't know much about packages. I don't know much about structuring an application. I know a little bit about Go routines, and I know how to utilize them, but I would like to do it better, basically. I just want to learn the advanced, now that I know Golang's basics, maybe a little bit more than basics, I want to learn the advanced stuff that Golang has to offer, because this is a huge language in the backend environment. I know that companies like Monzo, Twitch, inner workings at Google, everyone uses Golang in their server environment. So that's it. That's all the stuff that I want to learn, that I really want to dedicate myself on learning 22, as well as my regular projects. And it'll be a good year. Hopefully I get this all done. I'll probably make an update at the end of the video, at the end of the year. See how it's gone. Alright, take care. Bye.